Damn, they really came for people with attached earlobes in this one. I feel attacked, personally. Like, don't dismiss me as an alien just because I was born with ears that are sexier than yours. The mothership will hear about this. Welcome to Reviewed in 5, where I rate movies in 5 categories: writing, directing, acting, originality, and entertainment. Today we're talking about the one that gave my autocorrect a conniption as I tried to write this. Jesse Plemons stars as the type of down-on-his-luck, terminally online dude to absolutely annihilate the vibe of your party by interjecting every conversation with B-lore. There is a part of me that wishes the reason he's broke was that he's a struggling jazz musician. Wouldn't make any sense for the character, but consider then that he would be the true antimatter opposite of Jerry Seinfeld's Barry B. Benson.
You like jazz?
The guy really likes bees, alright? In fact, he likes them so much that he's willing to kidnap the CEO of a pharmaceutical company on their behalf. Because... you ready? He has convinced himself that she is an alien on a mission to deliberately exterminate them with hair and histamines. This is the 2025 everyman protagonist, and if you don't like it, you can cry. But all that's left for us is to find out what happens when an unstoppable girl boss meets the immovable conspiracy theorist. Let's get into it. So if you take a quick look at the IMDb or the Wikipedia page for this movie, one of the first words you're likely to see is comedy. And I gotta call that out because that is just false advertising. Like, that is literally fake news. Describing this as a comedy in any capacity is about as out of touch with reality as Jesse Plemons is in this movie. And the only thing more insane is that this film is not even the most egregious example of that from 2025. I really need these marketing teams to understand that consistently eliciting nervous laughter from an audience is not the same as being funny. This is a thriller. Straight up. And, it's intense. Like, I was afraid to get up and leave the darkness of the theater at the end, because the back of my shirt was actually soaked through with sweat. Anyone who's aspiring to write scenes that build suspense through dialogue would do well to study this movie. And also anyone looking to write characters with unique voices that are distinct from one another. This is a big deal in screenwriting. Basically what you want to aspire to is if somebody read one of the lines from this movie on a piece of paper without knowing who said it, they should be able to accurately guess. Because Emma Stone sounds like a manipulative corporate ghoul, Jesse Plemons sounds like a smart but misguided loser, and Aiden Delbus sounds... well. So even though the story itself is pretty straightforward, the level of craft in the execution is honestly aspirational. And it truly did keep me guessing the whole time. 5 out of 5. I was very impressed. So I have thoughts, generally, on Yorgos Lanthimos as a director, but as counterintuitive as it sounds, I'm actually going to save that for later. But I gotta admit, the gradual escalation of his lens choices from mildly off-putting to truly unhinged was one of the most interesting things to happen in film in the past 10 years, even if I was not crazy about some of the trends that resulted. And so after Poor Things, with which I can only assume he wanted to approximate like a near-death experience, or being a fish, my only question was, where does he even go from here? And it seems like the answer is just, he's over it. We've matured to the point where real recognizes real and he's willing to let the script do the heavy lifting, which is good because this script benches 250 on an empty stomach. Like, the tone comes across. We're wide when we need to be wide. We're not wide when we need to be not wide. He's got nothing to prove at this point. If he did some weird shit with the camera, it probably would have just pissed me off, honestly. 4 out of 5. So apparently there's an uncorroborated report out there that this is Yorgos Lanthimos' most expensive movie, which, if that is the case, what? You're telling me that this film, which is 80% composed of 3 people arguing in a basement, somehow cost more than the globetrotting Cheesecake Factory sex romp? My headcanon is that Emma Stone just keeps charging him more and more exorbitant rates in like a diplomatic effort to get out of continuing to do these, and he just signs the check anyway. All this to say, I thought she was very convincing as the victim of a high-profile hostage situation. I'm not saying she shouldn't have been nominated for that Oscar, but the fact that she's in here does make me nervous, because after what happened to Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, I am never underestimating the Academy's capacity to simp over Emma Stone in a Yorgos movie ever again. Please, for the love of God, give it to anyone else, guys. She does not need this one. I guess other people also acted. Jesse Plemons? Yeah, believe the hype. Why is it that all the best male performances of 2025 are of characters that just, by all rights, belong in jail? There is a real art to how intelligent and persuasive he comes across, considering the just complete insanity of what he's saying. But he also plays the cracks in the armor so well that when he does, you really start to feel for him. And Aiden Delbus. Would it be fucked up if I said this was the role he was born to play? Look, My little brother has Down syndrome. I bring this up not as an excuse for making jokes at the expense of disabled people, but to make you understand that if someone who is disabled is being a little shit, I have no problem calling him out on it. So when I say that Aiden Delbus is excellent here, you know I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I think this really speaks to the importance of inclusive casting, because if somebody else was trying to, fake autism in this role, it would have been cringe. At the very least, the portrayal would not have been as empathetic as this. Overall, I thought all the principal cast really disappeared into these roles. I'll go 5 out of 5 on acting. I think these guys earned it. So the avid Oscar enjoyers may have noticed that this has been nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, not Original Screenplay. Turns out, this is actually an English language remake of an early 2000s Korean film called Save the Green Planet. Take a wild guess if I've seen it, guys. Are we at the point yet where we're ready to just give the nation of South Korea an honorary Oscar for satirical social commentary? If we did, they'd probably just balloon it over the DMZ. Let Kim have it. Am I not selling you on this idea yet? But look, if this guy truly was writing protagonists that succumbed to conspiracy theory rabbit holes all the way back in 2003, I think he might be an alien from the future. That is deserving of props. He called that shit. And even if knowing that most of the sharpest, most relevant, generally genius ideas from this story didn't actually come from these filmmakers does diminish it somewhat, I have to appreciate them for introducing this story to broader audiences. Broader. Film YouTube and Letterboxd. Because it really cuts even deeper now, over 20 years after it was written. 3 out of 5. Can I speak my truth for a second? Can I risk deleting whatever small amount of Film Bros social credit I've accumulated so far? I am not a Yorgos Lanthimos fan. I have never liked his movies. As a 27-year-old former Twitter addict, I got enough jaded, cynical thoughts rattling around up here. I do not go to the movies to get beaten over the head with a worldview that is somehow even bleaker than mine. Didn't like The Lobster. Didn't like The Favorite. Haven't seen Killing of a Sacred Deer or Kinds of Kindness, but based on what I've heard, I don't think those are going to be the ones to turn my opinion around. You could call me a Poor Things enjoyer. I will go to bat for that one, with some very big caveats given the content, but I appreciated how that one leaned more wholeheartedly into the darkly absurdist humor that I've always wanted to like, but I think I mostly prefer it just because it doesn't end on a complete downer. So how does this one stack up? Honestly, this might be the one to win me over. Just something about the straightforward unpretentiousness of it, combined with how effective the writing is at building suspense, just clicked with my tastes more than anything else he's done. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you this is an uplifting or, God forbid, crowd-pleasing watch, but if you're looking for an intense thriller with a great grasp of irony and a solid sense of humor, this is a good one to have in your back pocket any day of the week. 4 out of 5. Alright, I think I actually know what this is going to add up to, but I just want to double check. Alright, and that's why. It's actually higher than I thought, 4.2. Shockingly high for how much I went in kind of expecting to hate this. But yeah, that'll do it. Next week, Frankenstein. First time I've ever gotten to announce the movie in advance. I think this is the first time I've ever actually known. But I will be seeing it this Thursday, February 26th, 3 p.m. Egyptian Theater, Hollywood. Come on down. So hopefully I'll see a few of you there. Have the chance to maybe chat about the movie a little bit, but if not, feel free to keep the relationship parasocial. And the review will be up next weekend. All right, peace out, bees.